Hi, this is Kwan Yin the Compassionate, Part 2. The princess Miao Shan left the rain-soaked temple and surrendered herself to the soldiers. Frightened by the events they had just witnessed, the soldiers wrapped her in chains and carried her back to the palace. The emperor, Miao Shuang, sentenced his daughter to death. As Miao Shan neared the place of execution, the sky grew overcast and dark. But all who looked on Miao Shan saw that she was surrounded by a radiating, brilliant white light. When the sword of the executioner fell on her neck, it shattered into 1,000,000 pieces, and Miao Shan remained unharmed. Then he thrusted her with a spear, but the spear broke into shards. Finally, he was forced to strangle her with a cord, and as Miao Shan fell lifeless to the ground, the tiger leapt onto the execution ground and grabbed her body and dragged her off to the forest. As Miao Shan's soul was carried away to a place without mountains, without sun or moon or stars, a place without people or animals or anything living, a place with neither sound nor color. "What is this terrible place?" Miao Shan cried. And immediately there appeared a man before her. "Welcome, Miao Shan, to the land of the dead. I am your guide," he said. As Miao Shan followed the guide down the bleak road, she gradually became aware of heartbreaking moans and cries. Through the swirls of evil-smelling fog, she started to distinguish faces distorted by pain and grief. "Who are these people, and why are they crying?" she demanded of her guide. "These are the souls of the condemned," he told her. "Then I must pray for them." So she fell on her knees and knelt in the road and prayed. And as she prayed with all her heart, the foul mists of hell dispersed and lotus flowers began to spring up all around her. The king of hells was dismayed to see his hell was transformed into a place of peace and joy. But there must be balance in the universe. And so he banished Miao Shan back to the land of the living. And she was escorted across the veil, the river that separates the land of the living from the underworld, and she re-entered her body. She woke to find herself lying under a pine tree in the middle of the forest, and she looked up, and there was the tiger still standing beside her, protecting her. When the tiger saw that she lived, he motioned for her to get on his back, and swift and silent, he carried her across China to the far island of Puto. There, Miao Shan devoted herself to prayer and meditation. And during this time, she worked many, many miracles. As people came to her, suffering from illness and grief and feelings of remorse for actions that they had done in the past, to only speak of their troubles to Miao Shan, and she would alleviate their pain. And after 9 years of meditation and prayer on Puto, she was recognized by all of the gods and goddesses as a Buddha. and she was given the new name, Kwan Yin. Meanwhile, the Emperor Miao Shuang, since condemning his daughter to death, had been afflicted by a terrible, debilitating illness, and no one was able to cure him. Finally, a Buddhist priest said that he could only be healed by the gift of a person free of anger, the gift of their arms and eyes, to make an ointment to cure him. And he gave up hope, the emperor, thinking there is no such person. But the Buddhist priest said, oh, there is. There is someone who will sacrifice her life for you. So the priest sent word to Kwan Yin that her father had great need of her, and the princess immediately returned to the palace. And when she heard what was required, she immediately showed no hesitation, but seized a knife and cut off her arms and gouged out her eyes to give them to create the ointment to cure her father. Then the flesh of the goddess was ground into an ointment that cured the emperor of his debilitating illness. And when he recovered, he begged to meet the selfless person who saved him. And when he realized that it was his own daughter who he had treated heartlessly, he fell on his knees and begged her forgiveness. And she merely gently laughed. And as she laughed, the places where her arms, she had cut off her arms, the thousands of arms appeared. And from her eyes that she had gouged out, thousands of eyes had appeared. And a dazzling light surrounded the goddess. And the emperor had to force his eyes away. It was so bright. And when he returned to look at her, she had disappeared. And it is said that Kwan Yin will return to all those in great need of her compassion.